Hey, Chris Jenkins, credentialed member of the media, covering the Carolina Panthers for Charlotte Vibe, a.k.a. Man of the People, here to proudly, ecstatically report to you Carolina Panthers victory today in overtime. This team, first season for me, again, following this team through every single game of the year, and I said, wow, this has to be yet another overtime. And it was indeed our fourth overtime of the year, and we ended this one victoriously with a whole lot of points, as we need to with our defense that I look forward to covering in terms of the improvements that we're going to make in the offseason. Certainly got a lot of work to do there. Yours truly will continue to cover this team at the Combine. I will continue to bring you lots of updates this week about, okay, now that the season's over, where do we stand, what do we do, what do we need to do. But before we get into that, make sure you please hit that like button, subscribe. Help us get to 15,000 subscribers. It will be greatly appreciated. Probably didn't say it. Let me go ahead and say it. Final score in this game today, Carolina Panthers 44, your Atlanta Falcons 38. Carolina now improves to 5-12. Yes, folks, that is a 250% increase over last year with Frank Reich and yada, yada, yada. That happened there. Again, the Carolina Panthers finished 5-12, beating the Atlanta Falcons in overtime. Your NFC South champions are unfortunately, I can say that, right? Are unfortunately the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and Mike Evans did reach his goal. I think it was 1,000 yards that he needed to get today. He was able to reach that. So, there's your final report, so to say, on the NFC South. Tampa Bay Bucks winning the division, followed by the Falcons, Saints, and Panthers. All right, we got a normal good show lined up for you guys this afternoon where we're going to go over some pictures, some stats, and then we're also going to go into the press conferences from both Dave Canales and Bryce Young, and then I'll leave you guys with a few thoughts of mine. And then tomorrow we'll have our big show where we go a lot more in-depth. And, again, we're going to have several shows throughout the week. And through this offseason, we're going to continue to get you guys up to date with this team. Yeah, see some of the comments there. How about Bryce Young? And, yes, it's great. Hold on a second. I'm going to get me a straw. I feel like if I had a straw, it would be a little bit easier for me to drink while on camera versus, like, turning up the bottle. But, yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. Give me just a second here. You guys are talking about Bryce. Yeah, let's go ahead and go through some photos of the game captured by a great photographer, Patrick Snyder. And, again, I love to plug him because he is awesome at what he does. If you guys haven't done so, I encourage you to follow us over on Instagram. Last game of the season, but still follow us on Twitter as well during game days and throughout the week. As we have little small updates, we'll put that information out there. But during the game, Patrick posts pictures from the game. So that's what we're going to go ahead and take a look at now. From this, again, this great victory, Bryce Young continued to solidify himself as, hey, I am your franchise quarterback. There's, to me, no doubt about that. So taking a look at some photographs for today, it started out looking like this game was going to be, here we go with the track meet. And it, honestly, it did end up being a track meet. And the Carolina Panthers did allow a lot of yards rushing. The Carolina Panthers did didn't allow a slew of yards passing, but nevertheless, play early on right there. And this is a great shot. Yeah, the Reaper strikes again. Well, the Reaper in that he ruined the playoff chances, but they didn't have a full chance as the Tampa Bay Bucks did fall to the New Orleans Saints. But I get what you're saying there. Here's a beautiful picture of Bryce Young warming up here in Atlanta. And, whether or not you like Atlanta, I'm going to tell you this stadium down here is phenomenal. The halo screen and the retractable ceiling that has never been open while I'm down here. Great shot by Patrick Snyder there. And this is the guy right here, my man Adam Thielen, who this guy, I can't say enough about this guy. And you know what? I think he's been teaching Jalen Coker some good moves because him and Jalen Coker seem to run their routes similar, catch the ball well from the outside. From off their body. But nevertheless, great catch here by Jalen Coker. Wow, I'm sorry. By Adam Thielen, bringing that ball in, being the safety net. And then look at the surgical nature of this guy. And he is going to throw this pass here. Bryce Young had a phenomenal day, best day of his career by far. And we're going to get into that in just a second. But you can see here how he's positioning his body, making eye contact with Sanders there, about to hit him for a completion. Good stuff. This guy plays really good on the go. Here we go. Mike Boone with the stiff arm, getting through the defense. And the Carolina Panthers rushing attack came back to life today. It really did. Carolina Panthers rushing attack came back today and had over 100 yards rushing. But there's Boone right there. Nice shot by, again, our photographer, Patrick Snyder. And this looks like a touchdown. One of the 3 touchdowns that Bryce Young threw today. No interceptions. Great outing today by Bryce Young for sure. Continue to move on. A little celebration after the touchdown catch, right? Coker and Moore. Sanders on looking. Yeah. Great time down here in Atlanta today. Great way to start off the new year. Bryce Young point. By the way, it was funny. I saw on the Carolina Panthers Twitter account how they said undefeated in 2025. Hey, I'll take it, right? Obviously, I feel like we're building something. I don't know how you guys feel, but I feel like we're certainly building something. A lot of right pieces are in place for this Carolina Panthers team. Certainly there's some more pieces that need to be added. But I'm just going to tell you, I'm going to get back on track here in just a second. This feels nowhere, nothing like, not even similar to anything that I've been experienced with this team over the past years of having Matt Rule come in here and give his speech and get you fired up, and you get the results that you have with Matt Rule. Nothing like with Frank Reich when he comes in here. And even when you know that Frank Reich was going to be out, it was still like, man, we're going into the offseason of like, oh, what's going to happen? What are we going to do? There's so much to do. I feel like this franchise is finally in so much of a better position. Earlier today I did see David Tepper walking around. Did not have a chance to speak with him, but, I got to feel that guy is feeling a lot better about his organization for the first time maybe even, right, since he bought it. So, nevertheless, we've got a few more pictures that we want to go through with you guys. Bryce Young there pointing to the sky after, I'm sure, one of his touchdown passes or runs. That's probably a pass there because he's not in the end zone. Here we go. Another great catch by another one of our great wide receivers. And, again, Patrick Snyder captured that picture. And then we have yet again my man Tommy Tremble with the jump. We all had to laugh at this when he did this here in the stadium because it seems like it was kind of unnecessary. But, he did a jump and he did a stiff arm. Tommy doing whatever he needs to do to get the ball moving, and he did keep the drive alive. And here we go right here. Ending the show, well, not the show, ending the photo slideshow with a picture of none other than Miles Sanders, game-winning walk-off, just like Chuba did several weeks ago. Miles Sanders did it today to give the Carolina Panthers the victory, helped this team move to 5-12 on the season. So I see a lot of comments coming about Bryce Young being the guy. And, yes, there was and let me, what? I'm going to try to get this on the screen here. Deviate here for just a second. Sorry, that was still probably loud in you guys' ear. But, so, let me put this comment on here from DJ. DJ says, got to get the stuff like no look to Tremble. So, I don't think our photographer got that. But in regards to that, so that happened tonight. Looked great. Kind of went wild on Twitter. And it also brought back to life on Twitter my undeniably most popular tweet to date. Has about 1.5 million views. And let me see if I can super quickly find it. I won't waste you guys' time too much if I can't find it. But it's just hilarious to me. But in a good way, in a very good way. And let me see if I can quickly find it again. If I don't quickly find it, then I will let you guys, and I will continue with the show. Give me like 3 more seconds to see if I can find it. All right, yep, here we go. So this is something you can see here from several years ago. What are we up to? 1.4 million. So this was back in August 5th, 2023, where I posted this video of Bryce Young throwing a pass and looking away. And it said, "Thank you, Chicago." This tweet has gone so viral because it has served as a back and forth between Chicago fans and Carolina Panthers fans for now 2 years. And I don't know if you see it there, but here's the funny thing, right? So that tweet is there, and then look what he does here. You guys are still going at it. He says, "You were too early." Reverse. Uno. I love it. I love it, man. I love it. I love it. I love it. That's pretty cool. So didn't know if you guys saw that. But, yes, Bryce has been doing stuff like that for quite some time now, and it was cool to see it happen in the game. Cool to see Bryce playing as, happy and as fluid as he is, and Carolina Panthers getting this victory. So let's go ahead and go into some press conferences here. Let's go ahead and touch on the press conference from Dave Canales speaking with the media earlier today. Just 1 second. We'll go ahead and cue this up for you guys. Just 1 second. All right, here we go.
Well, that was fun. That was interesting. In classic Panthers fashion, we end up on the 6-inch line again. We've spent a good amount of time this year inside the 5-yard line, so the guys are comfortable playing there. First and foremost, unbelievable to have Miles Sanders back. 115, 2 touchdowns. For Miles to battle back, just how special that was. And feel it in the week. Just the smile that it brought to the whole group, when he was in the huddle. And then just the moment on Friday, he comes over to his coach on point, and just to feel what it meant to be out there. That was special. And how about Bryce? I mean, I just, to talk about just like being able to call whatever I wanted to call on the call, knowing that he was going to find a positive. He was going to find a big play, a scramble for a touchdown, just the different things and how free that is. Just to be able to call whatever fits that area, not have to second guess the calls, and he gave us that ability to do that today. And just, he'll come up here and the first thing he'll say is how awesome the offensive line played. The guys in Chandler, Zavala, and Mary, really playing well today.
All right, so just wanted to play a little snippet from Dave Canales' post-game press conference talking about Miles Sanders wanting to come out there. He said it, and I've been saying, I don't know why you would want Miles Sanders out there. I said, I feel like you move past him, bringing him out there for just one game. What's the point? I said, unless Miles Sanders is just like, hey, get me out there. Give me some tape, whether I'm going to be here or, put some tape out there to go someplace else. Give me an opportunity. And that's what Dave just spoke about is Miles Sanders like, hey, I want to play. I want to play. So there you have it. Miles Sanders really pushed up hard for playing today, and he did play and did pretty well. And again, here shortly, we're going to go over those stats from his play today. But also, did you hear what he said about him and Bryce Young? So that right there, to me, pulls the curtain back just a little bit more and tells us what has been happening with Dave Canales and Bryce Young. Now, I'm going to say early on, whatever lack of trust Dave may have had or wondering about the ability of Bryce, it was valid. He wasn't getting anything out of Bryce, right? We all know Bryce was not in a good place those first 2 games of the season and, for the most part, all of last season, right? And you could tell that things have grown by the way Dave's calling the plays. You can tell that he's trusting him more and he's seeing what he needs to see. And for me, I've been seeing it in the daggone passing charts. For some reason, Next Gen didn't put this chart out there last week. But Bryce Young's passing chart took a few weeks, but then it's just like, boom, it just opened up. And I always used to wonder, like, when Andy Dalton would come out there, you see the whole different pass chart over here, over there, down the ball, down here. And then Bryce would come in, you see think, 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 think. And play calling was part of the reason, or a big reason for that. So I'm glad that the relationship with Bryce Young and Dave Canales is flourishing so well that not only are we not worried about, hey, coach, is Bryce starting next week? Hey, coach, is Bryce starting next week? And you're like, well, we'll see. Hated that. But we all have to admit that at this point we can say, Dave Canales, little hat tip, could have been luck. I don't know. But I can say end result is you did a good job in getting Bryce Young to being at his potential, and we look forward to continue to see him grow. All right, let's go ahead and talk about the press conference with Bryce Young. So give me just a moment. We'll get up the press conference from Bryce Young and let you guys tune into this as well. Give me just 1 second, you all. One second. Didn't get it on here right. Going to get the Bryce Young interview for you all in just a second here. Here we go.
So they told me, nah, it was definitely not planned. It was just confidence in timing. I knew he was open, so when I threw it, I knew he was gonna catch it. So, yeah, I don't know. It was like a reaction. I never think about it. Yeah. I mean, all glory goes to God, which is again weird when it's like in there. Like that's kind of what throws me off. But whatever. But yeah, facts. But yeah, no. But on a serious note, again, I'm just super blessed. All glory goes to God. I'm super grateful to be able to move with this team. Everyone was so resilient today. Everyone understood. We were playing for ourselves. Coach talked about finish all week. This was such a great opportunity for us. It says it's to finish, to go in and just prove what we can do. And it was hard fought over time, back and forth, and just the resilience as a team we showed. I'm super grateful. It was just amazing to see. It was great to just see Miles out there being Miles. I wasn't out there surprised. Hey, he go for 100. Like that wasn't a shot. That's who he is. So seeing him out.
All right, so I don't know what started to happen there with the video playback on Bryce Young, but he's like, no, I'm not embracing the Reaper. Fair enough. And interestingly enough, right, how he goes to say all glory to God, and how I spoke with J.J. Jansen the other day. If you haven't seen that interview, please check it out. There's lots of good things in there that he reveals about himself, his career, the team, yada, yada, yada. But in that video, he talks about the faith of this team and says, he feels like J.J. Jansen feels like this is one of the stronger faith-based teams that he has. So not surprising Bryce Young has a big foundation and faith that he mentions that and brings it up. But hats off to Bryce Young with his performance today. Again, very much solidifying himself as our franchise quarterback, or certainly no need to go ahead and draft a quarterback this season. And we're going to go ahead and go through some stats here and some other little facts from today regarding the game. But Bryce Young, one thing that I have really liked seeing that I feel like is developing well for Bryce, and could be helped by the fact that he has those two guards that we invested heavily in to give him some protection. But I feel like when Bryce, now he can definitely throw from the pocket. absolutely can throw from the pocket. But I also feel like Bryce does an extremely, extremely good job of being agile in the pocket, moving around a little bit, and making some plays, whether it's a play action or whether it's just him, stepping up, moving out a little bit. And that's, I feel, really continuing to help his game rise to the level that it is right now. But let's go ahead, take a look at some of the stats from today's game. We got to start with the guy, Bryce Young, right? And on here, I kind of wonder why I don't see Adam Thielen. I could have sworn that Adam Thielen had a pass attempt today. Help me out, but come back to it. I'll come back to it. Jalen Coker, 1 pass attempt, 1 completion for 19 yards, a passer rating of 118.8. Now, let me share this with you, okay? All season long, we haven't seen anything like a play call that we saw today or heard about. I don't think we've heard about Jalen Coker being able to throw the ball. We've heard a lot about Johnny Hecker and fake punts to look out for, but Coker? And so when that play happened, I said, you know what? I like what Coach is doing here. Let me take a drink of this water. I'll tell you why. I really need to get a straw. And I got a super chat that I'm absolutely, positively, 1,000% going to get to. But here's something to appreciate about Dave Canales. He stays very connected to his team, and his growth as a head coach, I see it developing before our eyes, just like we're seeing Bryce Young develop. We got to remember that Dave Canales is still a first overall head coach. He's been in the league for a while, but this is his very first year as a head coach. And what he did today I liked, and that he gave that play, the trick play with Jalen Coker, who then passed it. I forget to whom at this exact moment. But I like that because, there's an opportunity today for these guys to check it in, right? To just bail in and say, hey, last game of the season, whatever, I'm ready for this to be over. We're not going to make the playoffs. If they come out and score, all right, this could be a whole repeat of what happened last week. Let's just check it out and get out of here. But you know how guys feel when you call a play that you've been practicing and you haven't ran and it's something different and it's a trick play? That gets everybody excited. That boosts up the energy level. And so he called that early on, and it was successful. And I felt like that was smart of Dave to get ahead of the guys, possibly start to play with a lull or, get complacent, just want the season to be over. And he called that trick play, and it worked. And I like that from a coaching standpoint because, he's keeping these guys alert. He's keeping these guys excited to play. Nevertheless, let me get back to this passing chart here. Bryce Young, 25 for 34, 25 completions, 34 attempts, 251 yards, a passer rating of 123.5. So, again, in regards to Bryce Young being the guy, he first just had, for the first time, back-to-back back-to-back plus 100 passer rating games. He has now had 3 for the first time in his career, back-to-back games with a passer rating of over 100 yards. He did not have any interceptions. He had 3 touchdown passes, and he ran for 2. He accounted for 5 touchdown passes. There's only been 2 other quarterbacks that have done that for the Carolina Panthers. Everybody's going to guess the first one, which will be Cam Newton. I'm going to give you all a second to guess who that second quarterback is. It's only been 2 others than Bryce Young that has accounted for 5 touchdowns. Meanwhile, while I give you guys a chance to answer that, we're going to go to this super chat right here from Knucklehead K. Do I have all of my sound effects? I sure do. So let's go ahead and give her a round of applause, one of our great supporters. And you all are all great supporters by liking the video, subscribing if you have not already subscribed. Help us get to 15,000. I'm telling you, the bigger that we grow, the more that we can do. And I think if you've been watching this channel all season, that you've seen the growth of how much more that we're able to do and will continue to do with your support and help. Really does help us get interviews with players, coaches, etc. But she says, I know I'm late, but like, subscribe, become a member. Hey, Chris, hope all is well. I'll be back to watch later. Don't want to ruin the game. I'm about to watch it now. I just know we won. I'll be back later. That is some super good support. Means a lot to me when you guys share stories about supporting the channel, what you're up to, and checking in on me. So, Knucklehead K, I appreciate that. So let's see if we got some guesses here coming in. We do have guesses coming in. M. Mo says Jake Delhomme. Incorrect. Queen's Yarn. Boutique says Delhomme. Incorrect. I'll see if we get one more guess, and I'll go ahead and tell you guys who that other quarterback was. 10-9-8, 7-6-5, 4-3, 2, 1. Man, I forgot. Steve Berline. Steve Berline was the other quarterback to account for 5 touchdowns. So, and also interestingly, final score again, 44-38. First time the Carolina Panthers have scored over, I think it was 40, since in 3 years since 2018. No, I think it's 2019. Let me double check my notes here because I'm trying to remember a lot of facts as I'm working fast here. And it's very important to speak correctly. Steve Berline. Most points since week 3 of 2019. Yeah, I think I had that right. Most points since week 3 of 2019. So, and let me know in the comments, how are you guys feeling about this Carolina Panthers team? Is this not the best ending to a season that you've had in many, many years? But let's go ahead and continue to work through this. My man, Miles Sanders, came in, and, you know, he didn't have a phenomenal game, but if you look at his all-around game from what he did today, it was well done. I thought for some reason I said that Miles Sanders had 2 touchdowns. I believe I said that. Please, I stand corrected. Please, I stand corrected. But Miles Sanders, not too bad of a game. 17 carries, 66 yards, 3.9. 1 TD, and his long was 11 yards. Bryce Young, balling. How about that? You run the ball 5 times, and almost half the time that you run the ball, you get a touchdown. That's pretty dang good. 2 touchdowns for Bryce. Mike Boone, 4 carries, 18 yards. And Raheem Blackshear, 4 carries, 47 yards. So, you know, actually, as I look at this, the other running backs did pretty well. And to me, this does feel like, and this is just me, it's no sources, that Miles Sanders really wanted to get out there and have a chance to play again. He wants to continue to play in this league. Who knows if he's going to be here for the Carolina Panthers? I don't think he should be here, but it was a good opportunity for him to come out, do some things for him to be able to be with that next team. Let's go to the receiving. Here we go. So this is how Miles Sanders had the 2 touchdowns. Here we go. Miles Sanders had 1 rushing touchdown, and then he had 1 receiving touchdown. So that's how Miles Sanders ended up with the 2 touchdowns today. But Jalen Coker doing pretty darn well. He was 7 of 7. Didn't drop anything. 62 yards. Adam Thielen. These guys, they need to keep playing together. 5 catches, 44 yards. And then Miles Sanders here really having a balanced game when you combine his rush yards with his receiving. I don't know if he had 100 total. He had 66 rushing, and then, 50. So Miles Sanders with over 100 yards from scrimmage today. So that's pretty good for his resume to help him continue to move on. But Miles Sanders, 3 of 5. Xavier Legette, 3 catches, 30 yards. And, you know, Xavier disappeared in that second half. I did not listen to the full press conference, so I don't know if Dave talked about that. But certainly, again, we're going to be doing a lot of shows. Don't think that we're going to stop and go dark after the end of the season. No, we're going to definitely keep you guys up to date, let you know what to expect, and give you all the latest information and analysis regarding this Carolina Panthers team. But Xavier Legette did not play much in that second half, and we're going to report on that and find out for you all why that may have happened. But there you see the rest of the stats there from the receivers. Let's go to the defensive side. Damani Richardson, who didn't get the start, didn't need it, right? He did not get the start, but he led us with tackles with 10. Chandler Wooten doing pretty good with 9 tackles. And to me, Jadeveon Clowney, I don't think this stat right here shows it all. So I'm going to look for a stat on another screen for a second here. But Jadeveon Clowney had a good game. Let me see if I can. And I think you guys already mentioned here, just some. Let me get back on the screen here. Just some breaking news that I want to go ahead and report. Just NFL news, not Carolina Panthers or Atlanta Falcons news, but NFL news is the New England Patriots fire Mayo after one season of him going 4-13. Again, the New England Patriots have fired Mayo, Gerard Mayo, after one season going 4-13. So, wow. They didn't give that much time to take place, right? And you know what? That made me forget where I was going. Where was I going, guys? Where was I going? Hit that like button, subscribe. Hit that like button, subscribe. Oh, I was going to look at other stats for my guy, Jadeveon Clowney, because that screen, my stat that I have up there, doesn't show it all. And I know there's more to it, so give me just a second. Yeah, so this screen has it more. I'm not going to put this up on the screen for you, but Jadeveon Clowney, he had 4 tackles. But here's what I want to point out that was pretty good from him today. He had 1 tackle for a loss. He had 1 pass deflection. And he had 3 quarterback hits. So he had a really good game. Nobody else, let's see. Yeah, there were 2 other hits by the quarterback, but he had 3 hits, and he had a pass deflection, and he also had a sack. So hats off to Jadeveon Clowney. All that rest they've been giving the big fella pays off. But here, I'll just touch this back up here for another second, and you guys can continue to see the rest of the stats here from today. DJ Wanham having a good game. But, yeah, I feel like Clowney is a guy that at this point in his career, he needs a lot of breaks. So, you know, whatever role he has this year with the Panthers, I think ideally for him. So that's your stats from the day, press conferences from the day, and now just a few thoughts from me. And I'll also touch on just a few of the comments here that have been coming. We did have quite a few injuries today. I don't know the latest with those injuries, but we had Ashawn Robinson go out with a calf. He did not return. He was out. We also had a Caleb Evans with his ribs go out today and did not return. We had a few guys. It was kind of interesting because I don't feel like it's happened as many times as it's happened today. It certainly happened twice, and to me it doesn't happen that often. But you had the booth call down several times today and say, hey, evaluate that player for concussion. And both of the players turned out to be okay. One of those would have been Thomas and Coombe. They got evaluated for a concussion and was cleared to return. And then we also had one other player, Chandler Wooten as well, had a booth call down where they call down to the team, say, hey, pull this guy out. Chandler Wooten had to be evaluated for a concussion. He was cleared, and he did return as well. So just some more thoughts on the game today. Let me see what the Falcons did on their rushing. I did want to touch on that really quickly. So Falcons today, good gosh. I'm a victim of being caught up in the fact that we won the game. We won the game, thinking that maybe things weren't as bad defensively as they have been, but they were. Hold on one second. Michael Penix, congratulations. Breakout game. Kind of, sort of, when you play the Carolina Panthers. Michael Penix with over 300 yards passing today. Wowzers. Bijan Robinson and company allowed the Atlanta Falcons rush total to be over 200 yards, 227 yards. So we allowed over 500 yards of total offense for the second week in a row. Pretty bad. We also broke the record, probably shattered it. We did go into the 500 points, and I know we were the 7th team to allow over 500 points. I don't know where that final number stands, like historically overall. Like, did we crack the top 3 with the points allowed? Because 38 points is a lot of points. So here's what obviously happened as the Carolina Panthers finished out the season. Our offense is what carried us. Which, when I say that, you probably say, "Huh? What? Our offense? Our offense? What do we got?" Well, really though, if you look at it, our offense carried us the whole second half of the season to playing competitive football. And that's really hard to understand how great that is for our team in terms of the asset, in terms of the problem being fixed on offense. Certainly you can always get better, and I'm not saying that there's not room to improve on certain aspects of the offense, but you pretty much had to score a lot of points and not – and almost on every possession. So today the Carolina Panthers, they ended up punting 3 times today, but you had to score 44 points to win a game because the Atlanta Falcons did not punt the ball at all. The Atlanta Falcons did not punt the ball at all. So this is probably, I don't have a big statistician in my ear to tell me things, but I'm sure there's not too many times in the NFL where you don't punt and you lose a football game. But that happened today to the Atlanta Falcons. Now they did have, what helped us was we did limit them to some field goals, and the Carolina Panthers only had to make 1 field goal. And let's see, the Falcons had a field goal. They had a turnover on down, so that helped them not punt. And then they missed the field goal, and then they had an interception. So turnovers, we won the turnover battle. It doesn't matter what the difference is as long as we win it, right? Doesn't matter if we have 3 and they have 6. As long as they have more turnovers than we have. We were able to do that today. We had 1 turnover, 1 interception. That was fortunate, and we did not turn the ball over at all. The time of possession today was much more balanced, and I believe our rush and pass was more balanced as well. We had 35 pass attempts, and we rushed the ball for 30 times. So playing in a game where, even though it's high scoring, we didn't get down significantly, allowed Dave Canales to call the game that he did, which ultimately resulted in a win. And I said in a pregame show that I felt like us getting ahead, and we were ahead at some points in this game, would be key for Dave Canales, first-year coach, feeling comfortable to continue to call run plays. And again, that's what we had, pretty balanced, 35 pass attempts, and the rushing attempts were at 30 rush attempts. So pretty balanced right there. All right, before I get out of here, I am going to see if there's a few comments that I could touch on. I always appreciate you guys. All right, so I'm just going to touch on a few of the comments that are here. From Tyler Haley. Hey, I now know what he looks like. Hold on one second, y'all. Trying to get something on my screen. All right, here we go. We learned how to finish. That's extremely important. Dave Canales has started building a great culture. Absolutely. We did learn how to finish. They don't give up. They keep playing. I'm curious to see what David Tepper's thinking about the defense and if he wants to keep Ivero or not, but we'll continue to see. Shaked said, had we have even just a decent defense, we would have made the playoffs this year. Congrats to Evero, join Charlotte Vibe as a full-time co-host starting next year. I don't know if he's going to do that. Again, pregame, Alex Zetlow of the Charlotte Observer feels like there's a strong chance that Evero returned. I'm going to turn my light down. They turned off all the lights here in the stadium, so now my light is super-duper bright. So let me turn this down a little bit so I'm not as super-duper bright. But he feels like it's a really good chance that he will return and continue to be here. I feel like I don't know. I feel like there's about a 70% chance that he's going to return. I feel like there's going to have to be some discussions, though. I can imagine that they're going to sit down and say, all right, could we have done better? What can we do differently? What would you be willing to do differently? And do you want to be here? Or do you want to continue to maybe explore other options? I think all of that, in my opinion, will be part of the process in determining if Evero wants to and will continue to be here for the Carolina Panthers. Appreciate your comments, Shaked. T. Green says we only punted twice. Yeah, we only punted twice, but they didn't punt at all. You guys saying bring in Salah. Just since there's a few. Tyler, what a way to end the season. It was a great way to end the season. Great way to end the season. All right. So you guys all seem pretty happy. I'm pretty happy. And, again, they turned off the lights here in the Georgia Dome. I go all over the place, don't I, sometimes? But they're turning off the lights here in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium here in Atlanta, Georgia. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up again. Thanking everybody sincerely for your support, sincerely for the growth that Charlotte Vibe has had this season. In spite of the bad record, we've had some record growth, right? And we want to continue to grow. I'm going to continue to do things to warrant you tuning in. I also call myself man of the people. And I don't just say that as a really good tagline. I mean it. Every time I've traveled, and I see someone, they take the time to talk, and I hope everybody's noticing that I stop as well and take the time to talk. Sometimes it may have 30 seconds. Sometimes it may have 5 minutes. It just depends. And even over in Germany, it was a great experience. So you guys are what 100% makes this channel, and that's why you hear me sincerely say thank you so many times for that. We don't have any sponsors. We're 100% supported by our viewers. Knucklehead K, did I miss a super chat? Because I should have two. Did you just do that? Nevertheless, and I'm just saying that because I feel like I didn't want to miss it. But nevertheless, cue the music.
Super chat.
Tyler Haley with the super chat. Great job this year. It all means a lot, and I hope you guys enjoy feeling a part of this, right? Because as you guys are supporting, whether it's a super chat, a GoFundMe contribution, a Cash App, I hope that you guys all feel a part of this Charlotte Vibe experience, right? Part of the growth, knowing that, hey, I helped that guy, I helped that company go to where they were. This year, we were able to have 4 people at one point on our staff, where we had VJ being our camera assistant. We have Patrick Snyder taking all the photographs. You had myself, and then we had another co-host that was on for a little bit. But really enjoyed it, and really thank you guys. So I'm going to go ahead and sign off for now. Chris Jenkins reporting live from Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia. Carolina Panthers are victorious for their 4th overtime. Unbelievable in the season, finishing with a record of 5-12. I'll see you guys again tomorrow. Thanks so much.